It's the start of July 2025 and a new charging hub is opening on a route I use frequently. What better opportunity to take stock of the rollout of EV infrastructure in the UK, including this new charging hub at Oxford Services. I'm regularly to be found zipping up and down the M40 as that's the motorway that lies between me and my parents. It's been interesting to watch the expansion of the rapid charging network along this corridor over the past couple of years. Gridserve have played an important part in the improvements along the motorway network. They bought the electric highway from Ecotricity in June 2021 and began a rapid replacement of all of the existing Ecotricity chargers as phase one of their expansion. That replacement programme was completed in just 10 months. Bringing more reliable charging to the motorway network. But that was just the first phase, a like-for-like replacement with chargers offering better reliability. Phase 2 was then to roll out additional high-powered chargers, a project that is much more difficult to complete as it requires new, larger grid connections to the sites being expanded. However, in September 2022, the government confirmed the need to avoid a monopoly in the rapid charging infrastructure at motorway services, and other players started to enter that market, significantly speeding up the rollout of DC rapid charging on the strategic road network. This makes the M40 far from a Gridserve stronghold. We have numerous charge point operators vying for our business along this corridor, with Gridserve's electric highway filling in the gaps while everything else was put in place. Ionity would start the installation of their 6 chargers at Beaconsfield Services in 2020, a process delayed somewhat by the pandemic, finally opening in summer 2021. So started the competition with Gridserve there, who could only charge 4 cars at that site at once, and only at up to 50 kilowatts. Cherwell Valley would be expanded soon enough, with Gridserve adding 6 high-power chargers in late 2023, whilst allowing space for a further 6. Those additional 6 spaces would be populated with extra chargers in late 2024, so Cherwell Valley can now support up to 16 cars DC rapid charging at once, as well as AC charging points for those with older Zoes. Warwick South would get 16 Apple Green ultra-rapid chargers in October 2023, in addition to the existing 4 Gridserve rapid chargers and the 8 Tesla-only superchargers, so there's now plenty there as well. Instavolt would add the finishing touches to a rapidly expanding but unofficial motorway stop just off Junction 11 in December 2024, which now has 32 DC rapid chargers, sitting alongside a Costa coffee and a Hotel Chocolat for refreshments. As this isn't an official motorway services, the vendors are open very limited hours, but it's a useful extra stopping point for those using this motorway. More capacity available within a few hundred metres of Junction 11. That just left Warwick Services northbound and Oxford Services. Oxford Services felt like an important site, both personally because it's a site that would be useful to me, but also strategically. As is common on the M40, Oxford Services is at a motorway junction, and therefore this one site serves traffic from both directions of the motorway, making it a very busy location. One at which charging facilities were lagging behind, with just 4 Gridserve rapid chargers hugely oversubscribed, and a very busy Tesla-only supercharger. About a year ago, a sign appeared announcing that Apple Green chargers would be coming soon, but it wasn't all that soon. There's clearly been a big hold-up at this site, and we've had to wait and wait. But finally it's here. Well, it will be in the next few days. At this site, we will imminently have a hub with 20 Apple Green charging bays, stretching all along the car park opposite the main building, a huge step forward. The charger installation itself has taken about 7 or 8 weeks so far, but as of Thursday the 3rd of July, you can see they are all but finished. The bays are due to be line marked on Friday the 4th of July, after which there is just the commissioning of the equipment left to go before they will be available for public use. These new charging bays are at the top of the site, so to access them we drive all the way along the left boundary road, up the hill, follow it round to the right, and the chargers are on your left. I'm not aware of Apple Green offering any early discounts or incentives, So we can imagine that these chargers are likely to be 79 pence per kilowatt hour for contactless, with a reduction of 5 pence per kilowatt hour if you register and use their app. However, this isn't the only installation taking place at Oxford. In addition to the work by Applegreen, Tesla have also been planning an expansion of their supercharger hub here, and it probably won't be long before the Tesla installation begins and even more comes to this site. The existing Tesla superchargers at this site are version 2 dispensers and cabinets, meaning that each pair of dispensers marked A and B share power. If both A and B dispensers are in use, then cars don't get the maximum power they could accept. It wouldn't surprise me if they replaced these existing version 2 dispensers with version 4 units, which not only overcomes the power sharing issue, but offer longer cables and screens, giving additional options for the future. There are currently 16 Tesla supercharger bays, but they are often very busy, and with 22 extra parking spaces between the current chargers and the new power transformer, we have to imagine quite a few new chargers will be installed. Will they fill all of those extra spaces? I measured, and a supercharger bay is about 30 centimetres, 1 foot wider than a standard parking bay, so there is space for 19 charging bays in total. However, Tesla seem to work in multiples of 4, so I wonder if 16 more will go in here. I could be wrong, of course, but the sighting of the main power transformer at the far end of that row is interesting, and I've been told that there are additional supercharger bays being installed, so we'll have to wait and see what arrives. You have to imagine that if a lot more Tesla superchargers were to be added here, this might become a Tesla site open to all cars. However, that's just speculation on my part. We'll have to be patient a little longer and then see. So the addition of a bunch more chargers at Oxford services means that the M40 is now pretty well covered. Only Warwick services northbound is still lacking. There are Tesla-only superchargers for 8 cars there, but only 4 bays for the general public. There's no sign of any installation work at the northbound services, but it might be a handy spot for some people, as the M42 is pretty light on services, and there's not much on that motorway if travelling eastbound along it. OK, that's enough about the M40. What about wider afield? How is the rollout of DC rapid charging going across the country as a whole? For this, we can have a look at the ZapMap statistics, newly updated for this halfway point of the year. The latest data shows us that there are now 6,384 sites with DC rapid chargers. For context, there are about 8,500 petrol stations across the UK, so that's looking pretty promising. And that's only sites with DC rapid chargers. I'm ignoring the AC network at the moment. We can also see that there have been almost 1,600 new DC rapid charging points added so far in 2025, and the total number has increased 33% in the last 12 months. Ultra-rapid chargers have seen the biggest increase in those 12 months, with the total number installed up 59% from June 2024. An ultra-rapid charger is anything with a power of 150 kilowatts or more, and so it makes sense that this is the largest area of growth. In 2024, 4,353 new DC rapid chargers were installed in total, and halfway through 2025, another 2,227 have been added. If we extrapolate, it looks like we might have as many added in 2025 as we did in 2024. However, I think it's fair to say that the rate of expansion of the network is starting to slow. I don't think it will stop, but I think we can expect a reduction in the speed of expansion. I spoke to a member of one charge point operator who said that they were disappointed by the tweaks we saw made to the ZEV mandate, and that they expect the rate of investment in the infrastructure to slow as a result. The tweaks made to the mandate were fairly small, mainly allowing the flexibility built into the early years of the mandate to extend later into the programme, but it's the sentiment that concerned the charge point operators. The government changing their minds on the details of their legislation, however slightly, isn't something that instills confidence within the businesses that are investing so much of their capital into the network, so they will be slightly more cautious for a while. While we're here, I spotted an interesting change in the order of the size of the operators. At the end of May, Instavolt had become the largest operator of DC rapid chargers in the UK, just edging out Tesla. However, that reverses again by the end of June, suggesting Tesla has added 360 new DC rapid chargers in a single month. Wow, so Tesla are on top again. What is unexpected is that Gridserve are only in 6th place at the moment in this ranking by number of chargers. They are behind MFG EV Power in 5th. That really surprises me. I'd never have expected Gridserve to be so low, or MFG to be so high. So that's where we are at the moment. We have DC rapid chargers in 6,300 locations. That's a number that's equivalent to about 3/4 of the total number of petrol stations in the UK. We're not doing too badly so far. What's more, the number of charging hubs, in other words, sites with 6 or more DC rapid chargers, more than doubled in 2024, from 264 to 537, with another 136 added so far in 2025. And that, presumably, doesn't include Oxford Services, which is finally just days away from opening 20 new Apple Green charging bays to the public. What's more, additional Tesla bays are being added there soon, which might open to the public as well. Oxford Services is one of only 2 places where I've had to wait to access a DC rapid charger. That happened on my 2nd day of ownership, as I went there to check that my Zoe could charge correctly using DC. So I, for one, very much welcome this latest expansion of its facilities. There is, of course, still more to be done on the network, but perhaps not quite as much as you might think. Using DC rapid chargers happens a bit less frequently than people tend to imagine, and the network is already really strong. The availability of rapid charging is not something that will hold up EV adoption. It's all coming along very nicely. Thanks very much for joining me. If you have any questions or comments, then leave them in the appropriate section. I'd love to hear your experiences in that section. How is the DC rapid charging infrastructure in your area? Is Scotland, for example, still lagging behind on ultra rapids? How about the northeast of England? Are they filling in the gaps there yet? If you've liked the video, then it's a big help to me if you click the thumbs up button, and I'd love to have you as a subscriber if you want to see more from me. Thanks.